The dust tastes of endings. For 3 generations, the clan has followed the river, but now the river is a ghost. A pale scar of cracked mud and bleached stones. The herds they hunt have vanished, chasing rains that live only in memory. Ilara, the old mother, looks back at the flat, baked plains with eyes that hold the reflection of a dying world. Her people, a small band of Homo sapiens, are thin. Their ribs are harsh with them beneath sun-darkened skin. The choice was not a choice. Starve in the land of their ancestors, or climb into the teeth of the mountains that loomed to the north. A jagged promise of cold and shadow. They climb. Each step is a bargain with gravity. The air thins, biting at their lungs, and the familiar warmth of the lowlands becomes a cruel memory. This is a new, hostile paleo environment, a vertical world of stone and shrieking wind. The children, carried on their mothers' hips, no longer cry. They watch with wide, silent eyes. Kale, one of the young hunters, is the first to see it. He stops, his hand raised. A silent signal that ripples back through the weary line. In a patch of damp earth near a seep of meltwater, there is a footprint. It is undeniably like their own, yet fundamentally wrong. It is wider, the outshower, the impression in the mud deeper than even the heaviest of their hunters would make. It speaks of a weight, a sheer physical power, that they do not possess. The clan gathers around it, their hushed breaths misting in the frigid air. They touch the edges of the print, a gesture of disbelief and fear. It is the footprint of a man, but not one of their men. This is the first whisper of a truth, for which they have no words. They are not the only people in this world. The study of hominid history has long traced the migrations of early humans, but a textbook cannot capture this silent, chilling moment of discovery. Later, as they huddle for warmth in the lee of a granite overhang, Elara finds more, a crude shelter, a semi-scroll of heavy stones that must have taken immense strength to move, now long abandoned, and within it, the tools, a scatter of worked stone, a lithic scatter that makes her blood run cold. She picks up a hand axe. It is massive, crudely flaked from a chunk of basalt, a thing of brutal utility. It lacks the refined elegance of their own Levoluvis points, the careful pressure flaking that speaks of patience and foresight. This is a tool of raw power, not finesse. These ancient tools were made by a different mind, for a different hand. She runs her thumb over the sharp, uneven edge. It is a weapon meant to crush, not to slice. She looks at the faces of her family, huddled in the growing dark, and sees the same question reflected in every pair of eyes. Who are the ghost people who walk these mountains, and where are they now? The wind howls a reply, carrying with it only the scent of ice and the profound, terrifying silence of the unknown. The days that follow are a lesson in hunger. The clan moves through a landscape that does not want them, a silent testament to the harshness of prehistoric life. They are tracking the lone ibex, its trail a faint promise of sustenance on the high, wind-scoured ridges. Kale moves ahead of the main group, his body a lean shadow against the grey rock. He is light on his feet, his senses honed to a razor's edge by a lifetime of survival. The air is thin and carries sounds with an unnatural clarity, the skitter of a falling pebble, the distant cry of an eagle, the rasp of his own breathing. He rounds a sharp bend in the narrow game trail, a path worn into the cliffside over millennia, and freezes. Not 10 paces away, coming towards him, is one of the ghost people. All the imagined fears of the past recoalesce into a single, heart-stopping reality. The being is immense, taller than Kale, and twice as broad across the chest and shoulders. A thick mat of dark hair covers a body built for the cold, a physique of pure, functional power. The face is the most jarring sight. A low, sloping forehead recedes above a heavy brow ridge, and the jaw is wide and powerful, lacking the pronounced chin of Kale's own people. It is the face of an archaic hominid, a creature from a deeper, older time. In one massive hand, it grips a stone axe, the same type of brutally effective tool Elara had found. For a long moment that stretches into an eternity, Neither moves. The wind whips between them, cold and indifferent. This is not a predator-prey encounter. This is something far stranger. A moment the long arc of hominid history has been building towards. Slowly, Kale's family appears behind him, their steps faltering as they see the figure. And behind the stranger, his own family emerges from the bed. A female, shorter but just as robust, holds the hand of a small child whose wide, dark eyes mirror the terror and curiosity of Kale's own young king. There are two families, trapped on a narrow ledge, staring across an impassable gulf of biology and time. The fear remains, a cold knot in the gut, but it is now joined by something else, a profound, shocking recognition. They see the protective stance of the male, the way the female shields her young. They see the weariness in their posture, the same gnawing hunger in their eyes. The anthropology of the future would categorize and label them. But here, on this cliffside, they are just people. Two different answers to the same relentless question of survival. The stranger's tools are crude, almost moose terror-like in their simplicity. Yet their fur cloaks are thick and well-cured. K-less people see a reflection of themselves, distorted as if in a rippling pool. The strangers, in turn, stare at the newcomer's slender, intricately barbed spears. The woven reed basket on a woman's back, the small, polished bone fruit tied to K-less wrists. It is a silent, tense assessment of two separate streams of ingenuity. The ghost child lets out a small whimper, a sound that needs no translation. The large male gives an almost imperceptible shake of his head. He takes one slow, deliberate step backward, never breaking eye contact. Delora, at the back of her clan, understands. She gently pushes her son's shoulder, a silent command to retreat. Slowly, carefully, both groups withdraw, melting back around the bend. The encounter is over. No blood was shed. No cry of war was raised. But the world has been irrevocably changed. The mountains are no longer just empty. They are haunted by the profound, unsettling knowledge that they are not alone. The sky turns the color of a day-old bruise. The wind, once a steady, biting adversary, now shrieks with a new, frantic voice. Elara feels the change in her bones, a deep, ancestral dread that predates memory. It is not just a storm. It is a hammer, coming to shatter the world. The clan abandons the hunt, their single-minded focus on the ibex replaced by a more urgent need shelter. They scramble down the scree slope, heading for a deep ravine Kale had scouted, a place where the wind's teeth might be dull. As they descend, they see the others. The ghost people are moving with a purpose that mirrors their own. Their powerful, heavy strides eating up the treacherous ground. Their paths are converging. Both groups are running from the same indifferent enemy, drawn by the same instinct for survival to the only defensible spot for miles. The shelter is a deep overhang, a wide, scooped-out hollow in the rock face, protected from the wind. The Homo sapiens clan arrives just as the first stinging flakes of ice begin to drive down. Moments later, the others appear at the mouth of the shelter. The two groups face each other, the tension from the cliffside encounter returning tenfold. Kale raises his spear. The massive Denisova and male he FTS his stone axe. They are trapped, predator and potential prey, in a space that is shrinking with every gust of the storm. For a heartbeat, the future of human evolution on this small, frozen patch of earth hangs on the twitch of a muscle. But then a blast of wind tears through the ravine, so violent it forces them all to turn away, huddling against the rock. It is a physical blow from the world itself, a reminder of the true enemy. The choice is made without a word. The ghost people move to the deeper, darker side of the overhang. Kale's clan takes the side closer to the mouth, where the grey light of the storm filters in. A line is drawn, not in the dirt, but in the space between the mechanism of silence and suspicion. They build to small, separate fires, the flickering light creating dancing shadows that make the strangers seem even more alien. Their heavy brows and powerful jaws exaggerated and monstrous. For 3 days, they exist this way, Two families marooned on an island in a sea of white fury. All forwarding strategy is useless. The world outside is a churning chaos. Through the screaming wind, they catch glimpses of it. A world erased. Once, they all fall silent as a woolly rhino, a true piece of living megafauna, stumbles past the cave mouth. It's massive from a dark shape against the snow. Bellowing in confused rage before disappearing into the blizzard, the sight leaves both clans humble. A shared moment of awe and terror at a power that dwarfs them all. They do not interact. They watch. Kale watches the ghost father tenderly pick lice from his child's hair. The Denisovan female watches Elara crush dried herbs to make a poultice for a child's cough. They listen to the unfamiliar, guttural cadence of the other's speech, and hear in it the same tones of reassurance, of irritation, of care. They are learning the most fundamental lesson of prehistory: survival is not always about strength, but about recognizing the forces you cannot defeat. The blizzard is one, and perhaps the humanity in the eyes of a stranger is another. When the storm finally breaks, the world is pristine and silent, reborn in white. The ghost people leave first. The large male pauses at the edge of the shelter, looks back not at Kale, but at the small fire his people are tending, and then is gone. He leaves behind nothing but his oversized tracks in the fresh snow. An hour later, the Lara leads her clan out into the blinding light. The encounter is over. It will not be recorded in any saga, nor painted on any cave wall. It was simply a moment of shared existence. A temporary truce brokered by the ice. Yet, this quiet, uncelebrated event is a profound turning point. The archaeological record is sparse, but the genetic record is clear. These encounters, these moments of fear and cautious observation, were not always so silent. They lead to exchanges, two pairings, two children who would carry the legacy of both peoples within their very selves. The ghost of the Denisov and did not vanish from the mountains. It was absorbed, becoming a faint but indelible echo in the bloodline of their human ancestors. To bear witness to these echoes, to trace the veins of kinship in the bedrock of our shared prehistory, is to become a keeper of the flame. Reach out and add your handprint to the walls of this chronicle. The story of our survival skills is written not just in stone, but in the very fabric of our being. A testament to the hard choices made in the deep cold, long before the dawn of what we call history. The snow melts. The tracks fade. But, in the deep quiet of our own blood, the mountain's ghosts still whisper. What happens when the greatest threat is not the cold, or the beast, but the warmth of a new idea,